Hi there, my name is Maurice LaMee. I'm the Artistic Director of the Creed Repertory Theater. And in this video I want to share with you some ideas I've learned from Audition monologues. I've seen some 20,000 of them over the past 11 years. And I think my first observation about Audition monologues is that they suck. And they suck because they're a defective tool that we use, whether you're a casting director or producer, to try to evaluate actors. And unfortunately, it's the tradition of the theater to use audition monologues. They're almost the first thing you always see. I want two contrasting monologues. And I wish there was a different way to do this, but they do communicate some good information. And so I want to share with you what I think we're looking for from the casting director standpoint. So really, what you should be considering when you're picking a monologue, especially if you know what you're auditioning for, is that you're matching that monologue with the type of the role that you're auditioning for. So, if you're auditioning for a 19-year-old person, don't choose a monologue that's about your midlife crisis, So it's really useful to find a monologue that fits the type of the character you're looking at, the one that you're auditioning for. Sometimes I think actors want to, show their huge range, how many different things they can play right off the get-go. And that's actually not very helpful. I would say that's even more true in a general audition when you're auditioning for a bunch of companies, you don't know what part you're auditioning for. And in that instance, you really want to find a monologue that fits your own type pretty well, that fits the age range, the kind of demeanor you have, the sort of, the way the world sees you. You want that monologue to reflect that about you. And so I think when you are married as a type to the monologue type, you'll be much more successful. Probably the first skill that I'm assessing when you come and audition for the Creed Repertory Theater is whether you can act. That may seem obvious, but I'm actually looking for that skill set of playing an intention. Can you play an objective? It's important to find monologues that are active, that actually have intention, that actually have an objective built into them. A lot of times the best way to find a monologue like that is to actually piece a monologue together. Sometimes when you're looking in a script and you see that big chunk of text that is a monologue from a character, so frequently those are past tense stories and they tend to be reflective or contemplative, and they really aren't that active. So the first thing I'm looking for is a monologue, an actor who can play intention. And if that's not occurring, then I just won't consider you. The second thing that I'm looking for is, if you are playing intention, do you know how to play different tactics to get what you want? I think what's helpful is actually to invent a physical response. So whether they're turning away, or they're leaning towards you, or maybe they're raising an eyebrow, or whatever they might be doing, that you actually know what that imagined partner is doing so that you can respond to it specifically. When that occurs, it's much easier for me to understand that you know what tactics are, and that you also know what listening is. And listening is where monologues, we can't even begin to assess whether an actor is a good listener or not in a monologue. This is where monologues really fail. But you can sort of trick us into believing that you're a good listener just by playing a tactic, seeing what the response is from this imagined partner and making that specific, and then changing your tactic in order to get what you want. And when I see actors doing that, I'm immediately sitting up because I know that they know what they're doing.